Today we'll be doing leadership. Leadership. Leadership is the activity of influencing people to strive willingly for group goals. So leader has to make sure that the people working under him, they are willingly wanting to achieve the group goals. And leadership is the process of influencing people. Gandhiji was a world-class leader. Whenever he gave a call, people would leave everything and follow him. He had the ability to influence them. That is why he was a world-class leader. It is a process of influencing the behavior of people by making them strive voluntarily towards the achievement of organizational goals. So everybody should be working voluntarily. There should not be any force on them so that the organizational goals can be achieved. Now, there are three types of leaders. The first is autocratic or authoritarian leader. An autocratic leader gives orders and expects his subordinates to obey these orders. So as you can see in the diagram, the autocratic leader, he takes all the decisions himself and he simply gives instructions to the subordinates. So the arrow is pointing only towards the subordinates. Subordinates cannot communicate with the leader. They just have to listen to what he says and continue with what he wants them to do. What are the features of an autocratic leader? First, communication is one way. So he decides what is to be done and he communicates it to the subordinates. Second, this leader does not like to be contradicted. He does not like to take no for an answer. So whatever work he has told his subordinates to do, they just have to do it. Third, he believes in reward and punishment both. So the threat of punishment and the promise of reward is the method he uses to get the work done. So if the work is done properly, he'll give you a reward. And if it's not done properly, then he'll punish. Fourth, useful where work is time bound. Now, this leader is very strict. He does not give any leeway to anybody. So therefore, all that work which is time bound, that can be done within the time because of his efforts. Fifth, helps to increase labor productivity because he's always after their back and he's not taking no for an answer. So whatever he's told them to do, they have to do it. Therefore, the productivity of the labor is very high. And sixth, quick decision making. Since he does not consult anybody, therefore the decision making is also very quick. Then second type of leader is democratic or participative leader. As the name suggests, this leader, he consults everybody before taking a decision. The diagram shows that the leader is in communication with his subordinates. The subordinates can also communicate with him as well as the leader. So he takes decisions after consulting his subordinates. What are the features of this type of leader? First, encourages employees to participate in decision making. So this leader always consults his subordinates before he comes to a decision. Second, he believes that people perform best if they have set their own objectives. Now, suppose the workers are required to stay back after office hours to learn computer. So they are going to be trained in computers, but they need to put in extra hours for that. So this type of leader will actually consult the workers who are going to be trained and ask them whether it is suitable for them to stay back half an hour after office hours or that they would like to come on Sunday and take the training. Because he believes that if the workers decide themselves, they set their own objectives, then in that case, they stick to it and they are able to do it. For example, if the workers say we are going to stay back after office hours and do the work, then in that case, they will be allowed to stay back after hours and do it. They don't have to come on Sunday. Third, he respects others' opinions. So he does not impose his own opinions on the subordinates. Unlike the autocratic leader, he consults everybody and he respects their opinion. Fourth, he believes in exercising control by using forces within the organization. So continuing with the example that I had given earlier, so if the workers have themselves opted for staying back after office hours for half an hour to get the training, then in that case, if they're lagging behind after the end of the week, maybe they'll increase the time to 40 to 45 minutes so that they finish the training within the stipulated time. So that is only because this type of leader believes that exercising control by using forces within the organization. Since the workers themselves had decided, therefore, they themselves are controlling the end result. And fifth, this type of leadership is more common these days. So this type of leader is very popular. Then comes the laissez-faire or free rein leader. As you can see in the diagram, the leader has kept himself away from the subordinates. He is supervising them from outside. So the subordinates can communicate with each other. All type of communication is allowed. All ways of communication is allowed. But the leader is keeping himself away from them, giving them all the freedom that they want to do the job. So this type of leader gives a high degree of independence to his subordinates to formulate their own objectives and ways to achieve them. So if the subordinates have been given a target of making 100 units in 1 week, then they will decide how it is to be done. If one worker is absent, how is his absence to be compensated? He does not interfere. He does not tell them anything. He does not consult them. They do it themselves, but he is to be kept informed. Now, what are the features? He does not believe in the use of power unless absolutely essential. So this leader is supervising the workers from outside. So the workers are doing their own job. But if he feels that they're not doing it properly or the work may not be completed on time, then only he uses his power, not otherwise. Second, he gives a high degree of independence to his subordinates. So subordinates can take the decision all by themselves. Third, the group members work on their own task, resolving the issues themselves. So the group members, they have been given the task. For example, 100 units have to be made. So they decide amongst themselves how it is to be done. Suppose one worker has to take 2 days leave, then maybe he can stay back on some other day and complete his work, or maybe somebody else can volunteer for it. If every worker is to make 10 units and maybe one is making 8 and another is making 10, that is their own agreement. And if they have any problem arises, they resolve it themselves. Thereby they learn how to solve their own problem. Fourth point, the role of this leader is to only support his subordinates and supply them with required information needed to complete the task. So the role of this leader is only supervisory. He will support them in case they need anything. For example, they need some extra tools, equipment, raw material, or information that is needed by them. All that he will provide them and he will supervise them from outside. Fifth point, the subordinates assume responsibility for the work to be performed. Now, since the entire work is being done by the subordinates themselves, all the problems are being resolved by them. So therefore, the responsibility of the work is also theirs. So if they're not able to meet the target on time, then they're responsible for it. These are the features of laissez-faire leader. Thank you for watching.